Kenny.
Hey, Eileen, how are you doing today?
Good. That last Inside LakeForest episode was great.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Thank you.
What are we working on next?
Well, actually, right now, at the moment, I'm researching for the next episode of
You are?
Inside LakeForest.
What are we doing?
We're actually doing an episode on patch news.
LakeForest Lake Bluff Patch?
LakeForest Lake Bluff Patch.
When are we going to get started?
Well, actually, the editor of LakeForest Lake Bluff Patch, Jim Powers, is actually right over there.
Great.
You want to interview him now?
Sure. Today I'm meeting with Jim Powers. Jim, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, thank you.
Who is editor of The Patch. Jim, let's just start out by talking about what is The Patch?
It's an interactive website that allows people to keep abreast of what's going on in their community every day. We post new content every day, and it allows them to get involved differently than being a passive reader. We want them to be an active reader, to participate, to engage in a lot of different forums, and to become more involved than they would normally.
Jim, in your role as editor, can you tell me about some of the challenges that you face in getting information out, current information, to the Lake Forest residents?
Well, I can tell you that no day is the same. I mean, that's one of the things that's kept me involved in this business. I mean, I worked in print journalism for more than 20 years. Mm-hmm. This is my first venture doing something like this online. But it can be very challenging because we have the immediacy aspect of a website that you maybe don't have in print. Mm-hmm. And so you're definitely on the go all the time and trying to get that information a little bit faster than you normally would because you want to get it up on the site.
Talk to me about the different parts of Patch in terms of if there's a calendar or advertising pieces. Talk to me about what all is involved.
One of the things I think that separates our product from some others is that we have a very robust business directory. It's one of the first things that we worked on before a site is actually launched. We have people go out into the community, they go to every single business in town, get pertinent information in terms of how that business operates, they take pictures. So there's a profile of just about every business in town on the site. And the best thing about it is that now we're at a point where businesses can go in, claim a listing, and then can add their own pictures, can update the information on their business, and can post videos. So it becomes their actual, it could be their own website if they don't have one, or it could be a secondary complement to what they already have. So it's a great tool for them to use with our site.
Neat. I actually am familiar with that piece, being at Lake Forest Flowers, and I do recall someone from the staff came in. And it's really neat because you have this extended business listing. I think they can post photos, as you mentioned, and some other things, which is a great opportunity for Lake Forest residents to use that directory, whether on their smartphone or a laptop or an iPad of some sort.
Yeah, it's a great tool, and it's another way for them to engage. One of the things that we kind of pride ourselves is having this one-stop shop philosophy that not only can they find out what's going on in town from a content standpoint in terms of local news, but their local businesses are listed there. We have a great event calendar that shows things going on that day, coming up for the weekend if they're planning ahead. So it really is an opportunity to just, make life easier for them by providing this, full menu of items.
For the calendar specifically, if, say, a non-for-profit group or a business is hosting a trunk show or something like that, an event, how would one go about and post such an event on Patch? Do they email you directly, Jim, or is there a place where they can do that online?
There is a place where they can do that online. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's an item that says post an event, and you can go in there, put in the pertinent information. I know one area that people have kind of stumbled on a little bit is location, because we have all these registered locations on our site specific for this area. So if it happens to be outside of the area for any reason, even though it's a local organization, they just have to put in the address of the site of where the event takes place, and MapQuest will find it and put it on there as part of the event. It's really simple. I mean, you can probably get it done in less than a couple minutes.
That's great for some of these non-for-profit organizations to know, or even the businesses in the community if they have a class or, like I mentioned, a trunk show or something where they'd like residents to know, and they can find out quickly, as you said, this immediacy online, they have great access. Can you talk about how they get involved with Patch? How does one sign up, receive a newsletter, and all of that?
It's really simple. When you first come to the site, there is a button at the top that says join us, and all you have to do is provide your email address, create a password, and you're in.
Okay.
And then they'll ask you a question of whether or not you want to receive our newsletter that we create each and every day that goes to their inbox. It's a great tool, not only for us, but really for them, because every single morning they can take a look and see what content we're offering that day. It'll show a list of the calendar events going on for that day. It'll spotlight maybe a particular blogger that we have posted for that day. So it's a great way to start their day in terms of getting a grasp of what is going on and how to plan their day using our site.
Jim, now that we've talked about what Patch is and how one can get the newsletter, can you tell me about the history of the company?
Sure. It actually started in 2007. Tim Armstrong, who eventually became CEO of America Online, he started Patch when he was working for Google. And the story is that he was at home in Connecticut and was looking for an opportunity for his family to do some volunteer work, and he went online looking and couldn't find anything. And so he came up with this idea of, there should be a local aspect online that you can find a way to get involved in your community. And so he came up with the idea of Patch. And when he moved over to AOL, he brought Patch with him, and in 2009, they had 3 sites up in New Jersey. Those are the original sites. And then in 2010, they launched over 800 sites, including the one that I edit.
Great. And so that's when LakeForest came to be, the LakeForest Patch.
Correct.
Great. Now, what makes Patch different than some of the other online type news companies in the area? I know you mentioned the extensive business directory.
Right.
Are there other highlights that make it different?
I think the national aspect of the company is important. We're in 23 states and Washington, D.C., and so there are opportunities to do content from a national aspect. Like last night, I hooked up to a site in Michigan that we have so people could keep abreast of what was going on with the primary there, because we're going to be having one here in a few weeks. So, and it's obviously attracted a lot of attention. So it's another way for us to show the ability of Patch to provide more information beyond just your local towns. That's still our niche, but we also have this aspect. Another aspect is that we are partnered with Huffington Post, which is also owned by AOL, and that gives us another outreach to send our stories out that we normally wouldn't have. And so you suddenly get traffic from areas that you wouldn't anticipate because of the nature of the story that they post for us. So it's just another added reach for us to utilize. And we have Patch Deals, which is our version of a business that provides a service for a discount that people can take advantage of through our site. So that's a great deal too.
Great. And does the staff at Patch, yourself and your other colleagues, and reach out to businesses specifically, or if a business has a deal, is that something that they should contact you about?
Actually, it's handled through our advertising manager that we have. We're one of the few, I think, online sites really that has a combination of someone on the street who actually goes into businesses and talks to them about what Patch can offer. We also have people, doing sales over the phone. So the combination, I think, is working very well. My site is actually doing very well.
Great. And you're often at a lot of the community events, as is, meetings, some of the celebrations that we've had in the community, so people can visit with you as well as get involved with the newsletter itself in terms of being a part of a story or keeping track of what's happening. Is that correct?
And I think that's actually something that's different, that's changed with this position. Having worked in print, and we always kind of prided ourselves on the fact that we were this fly on the wall, and we were just kind of a witness to what was going on in the town. And now with this job, you're actually more actively engaged with your readership than you ever have been before. I can tell you, we get traffic reports that show what stories people read, what they don't read, and we have a lot better sense of what's going on than we ever did when I worked in print, which is a great tool for us to have. And it also allows you to get a better grasp of what people are interested in. Before we really didn't have any idea, and now we do. So that's great.
If there was one last word that you want residents to know about Patch, or one thing you'd like them to do, what would it be?
I would say, give us a try. I mean, we offer something, I think, different than some of the other sites around town, and We offer a lot of different platforms that people get engaged on. Many of the bloggers that we have on our site are actually people who live in Lake Forest, and they are often commenting on things going on in town. And I said, like I said before, I think our business directory really offers an opportunity for people, if they're not sure where to go find something, our directory can lead them to it.
Great. Thank you for watching Inside Lake Forest. As you know, today I've been visiting with Jim Powers, who's the editor of the patch, Lake Forest, Lake Bluff. I hope you check out the news source because it's current and up to date.